Today I'm doing something a little bit different. Today I'm doing 2 different soap batches that are using the same ingredients, that are different scents and different colors. I'm going to do half of each batch. I'm going to do half not colored and then half colored to match the fragrance that is in it. And I'm doing them 2 different fragrances so that I can tell them apart easy. But the whole point of this is to try my typical recipe and then to try a brand new type of recipe that I don't normally do, because I've been having problems with gel rings and overheating and things like that. So I'm going to try a new type of recipe to see if that helps. So we're doing a batch of green apple and a batch of blackberry. Now, while we're doing this, we're testing out a couple of different things. One, we're trying out the new fragrance from a different company that I don't normally order from, mostly because they have some really interesting scents, and I want to find out if they're worth it. We're going to be testing to see how white this soap comes out overall, as well as how soft, how bubbly, all those things. Like I said, the recipe is using the same ingredients, but it's not the same recipe, because one is going to be a much harder and faster to trace recipe, but it's also slightly less conditioning. I think that recipe is part of the problem of why I keep getting such hot soap batches. The other recipe that I'm going to try is obviously the blackberry, and that one is going to be a much softer and much higher in conditioning numbers type recipe, which will probably take longer to set up. Like, it might take an extra day before I can cut it. But at this point, for the aesthetic desires I have in what the soap looks like, I'm tired of the problem I'm having, so I'm looking for something new. So maybe waiting an extra day would be worth it. So we're going to find out. Okay, I think that covers the expectation, and I'm covering it all now just in case I end up wanting to put music to this instead of talking through the whole thing, because like I said, that can be very difficult. A couple things I will mention. I put sodium lactate in my lye water for both batches. One batch, the green apple, that is my standard batch, that is much harder numbers, is also using full water. The blackberry scented batch, that is the new, softer soap recipe, is also using a much less amount of water. It's using a 2-to-1 ratio instead of 38%. So I realize that's confusing because one of them is a ratio versus one of them is percent. But this works out to roughly, well, this is 38%, but this works out to roughly, what did it say? I think it was like 30.5 or 31.5% water. And this one's 38. But for simplicity, I just clicked the 2-to-1 ratio to try on this one, because that's what I'm being told, is that having such high numbers in my hardness and having full water is part of what's causing my overheating and my soda ash issues. So, also, a couple of you have asked me about my plastic corrugated molds. I make these myself. I run all the dimensions through calculators several times over. I do a lot of the math work before I ever consider making one, so that I know exactly what I'll get out of it and what I can put in it and all that stuff. But these all store flat. They fold together super easy. And the biggest cost here is having enough binder clips to be able to hold enough soap molds closed so that you can soap a couple batches in a day. I believe these were the regular or large, I don't remember which one they classified as, and it was a bag of 12 of them. I think it was $2.88 at Walmart, which you need 4 per loaf, unless you have 2 of these that go the same direction like this, you can butt them up against each other and you will only need 6 binder clips. So that's these. I do make them and I do sell them. If you have a desire for that, either leave me a comment below on how to reach me, or look in the description box for my contact information and just shoot me a message and we'll work it out.